Let me start with introducing our first speakers, Mr. Navneet Munot, who is the MD and CEO HDFC Asset Management Company. Team, can we have him on the screen? Hi, Navneet. Good morning. Can you hear me, Navneet? Can't hear you. You are on mute. Can you check your microphone? In the meanwhile, let me introduce Navneet to you. Navneet is the Managing Director and CEO of HDFC Asset Management Company Limited, a joint venture of HDFC Limited with ABRDN Investment Management Limited. He joined the firm in February 2021. Navneet has 28 years of rich experience in financial markets prior to joining HDFC AMC. He was the Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer of SBI Funds Management Private Limited. Navneet was a key member of the Executive Committee and was responsible for overseeing investment worth $150 billion across various asset classes in mutual funds and segregated accounts. Navneet was a director on the board of SBI Pension Funds Private Limited. In his previous assignments, he was the executive director and head multi-strategy boutique with Morgan Stanley Investment Management and chief investment officer fixed income and hybrid funds at Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Navneet has a master's degree in accountancy and business statistics and a qualified chartered accountant. He is a charter holder of the CFA Institute and CAIA Institute. He has also done financial risk management. Welcome on board, Navneet. His audio is connecting. It is showing your audio is connecting. Can we have Karan on the screen, please? Karan, have you joined? Karan is having some issues in joining. He will be joining in a minute. Navneet, are you all set? Is your audio is not connected, Navneet? It is showing on the screen. Navneet Munot is connecting to audio. Navneet is joining from another device. Friends, please hang on. His iPad device is not connecting the audio. Give us a moment. Karan is here. So let me introduce Karan to all of you.
Hello.
Hi, Karan. Welcome on board.
Thanks a lot, Brijesh.
Thank you. You're looking dashing as ever.
You're very kind.
And I wonder, after your retirement from corporate life, why did you join Hollywood or Bollywood?
For that, we'll have a separate session.
I know. All right, friends. So let me introduce Karan Datta, the moderator for Navneet's session. Karan is the former Chief Business Officer at Axis Mutual Fund. He's a speaker. He's a sportsman. Karan has spent more than 25 years in financial services across corporate finance, distribution of financial products, and asset management. He worked with domestic and global marquee names such as Goldman Sachs, Franklin Templeton, Axis Mutual, Aditya Birla Financial Services, and Tata Finance. Karan was among the first 3 employees of Axis Mutual Fund and part of the founding members team of Axis in 2009. By the time he left his last role as the Chief Business Officer in 2019, Axis Mutual Fund was the 9th largest mutual fund company, asset management company in the country. Welcome, Axis. Welcome, Karan. And thank you so much for accepting our request to become a moderator for this session.
Absolute pleasure.
So Navneet is joining again. He had some issues with his iPad connectivity of audio, so we'll wait for him for a minute.
No
Meanwhile, Karan, what's happening?
So Brijesh, I'm really excited about MasterStroke's event today. And I was just going through the entire list all over again, just one after the other. I even if there was any day that I cannot miss, that is today, because just fantastic speakers and well-chosen moderators. I'm really happy to be on this panel. And for everyone on, who's joined in today, you can look forward to some really good insights from some of the best people available in our industry. Like, for example, I'm speaking to Navneet today, or Kirtan, or Amit Biwalkar, Nilesh Shah. I mean, that list is phenomenal list. So congratulations for putting it all together.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Navneet is here, and I mean,
sorry about this. Last minute technology glitch, yeah.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So I will take a break here, and I will hand over the mic to Karan. Please take it forward, Karan. All the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Navneet, good to see you again digitally this time. Last time we met in person.
Absolutely.
So Navneet, I wanted to go straight into this Q&A session, but first I wanted to, actually remind everyone that you come out with this phenomenal note every year, which is the Person of the Year. And it's something like a series, and I personally look forward to it. The question I have is, to begin with, when will India become the Person of the Year?
I think it was there a couple of years back, I think 2008 or 9, when the world was like really not in a great shape. And I said, I think India is not a country. It's not like, it's an idea, and our time has come. But of course that we had like a couple of disappointments over the next few years as far as the economy is concerned, and maybe some of the other things. But I think, yeah, we seem to be moving on the right track now. And I think, yes, our moment has come. The center of gravity in the world is surely shifting from west to east. And on the eastern side, it looks like earlier we thought it would be more centered around China, but it looks like, looking at the recent developments, I think it's going to be a lot more centered around India. India will play a pivotal role in this century.
So I just want to pick on that theme for the first 5 odd minutes, Navneet. You spoke about the role India will play, and it will become a pivotal role in this part of the world. So can you just share with all of us and the audiences, what kind of role are you expecting India to play, such that over the next decade or so we become kind of an important player in the world? And then we'll come on to the subsequent questions.
So if you look at the world today, Karan, it is geopolitically realigned. It is digitally redesigned, and it is demographically different than it was a couple of decades back. And it's evolving very fast. And I think there are tremendous opportunities for India to take the lead. A country which has democracy, which is only getting strengthened day after day for last 75 years. I think a country which is now producing more engineers than US and China combined. A country which has got demand, which has got demographics, which has got digitalization, which has got a huge determination to take on the world. And in this world, I think I talked about, let's say, digitally redesigned. And there are tremendous opportunities for us to be the front office of the world. As it is, I mean, in this year, in a tough year like this, 30 MNCs have opened new global capability center. Almost every Fortune 500 company would have a large base here. And we can be the teacher of the world. We could be the a healthcare worker for the world. We are the trader of the world. I think all kinds of services that India can provide, as we have transformed ourselves from the most data poor to the most data rich and the most connected society in the world. In the geopolitically realigned and in the world where I think whether it's a China plus one, maybe on the food side it could be Russia Ukraine plus one. That could be another opportunity. So we can be the factory of the world. We could be the farm of the world, and we could be the front office of the world. The 3F that can happen. And of course, we are a very small part of the global economy today, but we are 18% of humanity. And I'm sure the way we are putting up, I think our policies, the way people are determined over the next several years, there's a lot that India can provide to the world. So think of in this manner that in a world which is aging, India is one of the best demographics. In a world which is, dealing with very few growth drivers or is dealing with anemic growth, India has many growth drivers and is one of the fastest growing major economy in the world. In a world which is highly leveraged, I think we are relatively lesser leveraged and have an opportunity to grow. And then, of course, the democracy is one of our biggest strengths. So we are leading G20 at a very, very interesting time in history. And this could be the period from here on. Everybody in the world looks up to India, a country which taught Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam to everyone. So we will not only be inward looking. I just give you a small example. At Glasgow, the PM took the lead. He was leading from the front and saying that growth has to be sustainable. And this is coming from a country which is poorest of the poor at $2,000 per capita and has to create growth which is going to be very resource intensive, very energy intensive. But still he's saying, no, I think our growth model will be very different. And that speaks a lot about the growth model that India is putting up. And that's why I think world will be very, very comfortable, I would say, taking India as the new leader.
No, I think you make some phenomenal points. I like the 3 Fs that you mentioned: front office and the farm. The third
factory
F,
and the farm.
factory, front office, and the farm. That really is. It kind of sums up the way you're thinking about it. So, Navneet, if this all is direction, what does this mean for capital markets, and what does it mean for savers and investors taking a decadal view? Because I do believe that if India is a young country, then the definition of long term in this country has to be redefined.
Absolutely.
So perhaps decade is medium term. So, if all of this falls into place, आपका capital markets पे क्या view है? In the sense, directionally क्या लग रहा है?
No, directionally, as I said, that we'll continue to remain one of the fastest growing economies in the world, fastest growing major economies in the world. And this growth will be driven by entrepreneurial spirit, facilitated by the state or by the right kind of or a conducive environment by the state, but it will be driven by the entrepreneurial spirit, by the private sector, which makes our growth model very different. This will be highly sustainable growth, and that makes our growth model quite different than some of the other parts of the world. This will be a lot more equitable growth, and that again makes our growth model very different. And capital markets in all of this will play a very, very key role. Think about it. Our market cap today is $3 trillion, but as the economy continues to grow over the next several years, as we become 5, 7, 10, will become a larger and larger part of the global capital market. This is where the growth is happening. This is where savings are rising. This is where the investments will rise. And then I think, again, our growth model is so unique and capital markets have played a big role there that over the last 30 years or so, since the economic liberalization, nominal GDP has grown at around 11-12%. Profits have grown at 11-12%. Market cap has grown around 12-13%. Not many countries in the world have delivered something like that. So capital markets have provided a way for people to participate in the growth of the corporate sector, which in turn participated in the economic growth of the country. So large savings pool channelized into the investment, which again in turn creates that growth and newer jobs, which means higher incomes, which go into consumption as well as savings and investment, which in turn creates more investment. So virtuous cycle would be created by the capital markets. And this will also make us, over a period of time, I think the Jan Dhan Yojana was one of the biggest reform that we have seen in last several decades. And now we are moving towards a Jan Nivesh with this whole SIP flow that will make us less vulnerable to what happens in the rest of the world. And I think that's a key difference that we'll see in the role of capital markets over the next several years, that fruits of growth can be distributed to a much larger people, and we channelize much greater part of our savings into the capital market, which in turn creates growth.
Yeah, and all of this, obviously, around all of this is the fact that we've now become, as an industry, quite the right vehicle for channelizing savers to becoming investors. And in that continuation, Navneet, how do you foresee the role of the mutual fund industry over the next few years and decade, over the next 8-10 years? Because the reason why I ask that is because we're now starting to challenge some real heavy hitters, for example, banking and insurance. So do you see that trend now becoming, is the J curve now getting more and more visible? How far do you think this is?
Karan, when we used to work together, 20 years back, the industry was like in 90s, it was 50,000 crores. And we all celebrated in 2002 when it was 1 lakh crore a year.
That is true.
We would have imagined that we would be 6x in next decade. But by 2012, we were 6 lakh crores. And then we would have thought that in next 10 years will again be 6x, and we are at 36 lakh crores. So it has been like 6x in every decade, and no reason to believe over the next several years, because the tipping point has arrived. Mutual funds sahi hai. SIP is the way to create long-term wealth in a disciplined manner. I think that tipping point has arrived. And even now, when we look at the overall household balance sheet, 50% is real estate, 15% in gold. People have more cash under the mattress than the money they have in mutual funds, in equity funds. So there's a lot of allocation is yet to happen. And that's why in HDFC Mutual Fund, we did this campaign, Barni Se Azadi, that the people have more cash than what they have in the right kind of instruments. So I think there is tremendous, I would say, growth opportunity, but I will also put it, there is tremendous, I would say, responsibility on our shoulders to ensure that we channelize these savings into the capital market, provide the right kind of solutions to each and every household in India. So we have reached like 3.5 crore unique investors now. 50% growth has come in last 15 months or so. But I think the tipping point has come and will play a pivotal role again in India's growth momentum by channelizing those savings, putting them into the right kind of investment, which in turn will create greater growth over a longer period and create prosperity for everyone.
So, and in this journey between asset managers and capital markets, is this big, most important set of MFDs, distributors, advisors, whichever word you may call it. What's your message for them? Because they tend to face a lot of headwinds, sometimes regulatory, sometimes markets, etc. So given that every decade we've had 6 times growth, the path for distribution is also very, very clear. But any specific message, Navneet, you would like to share with distribution partners, since a lot of them today have joined in on the call?
No, in the Gift City event where all of us were there, PM said that, he complimented the industry for the growth that we have achieved, but he also said, log nivesh karna chahte hain, आवश्यकता इस बात की है कि हम उन तक पहुंचे, और particularly जो non-financial background वाले हैं, उनको financial information कैसे पहुंचाई जाए, वो बहुत जरूरी है. And I think that's why we have set a mission for ourselves to be the wealth creator for every Indian, and I think we need to reach out. So the 3 things that every MFD needs to do. Number 1 is that 3E, you remember, existing clients. that existing clients need to continue with their investment. A 10,000 rupee per month SIP in our FlexiCap would have become 10 crores, but very few people have seen that journey of making 10,000 rupee per month to 10 crore rupees, right? Because existing clients sometimes get swayed by the volatility.
Yeah.
Number two is encourage the top up. All the investors who've already come through you, I think we need to encourage more top up because they have invested enough. Their incomes are growing, longevity is increasing, life is going to become longer and longer. So you need to save more, and lifestyle inflation is not that you consider when you do the financial planning. So encourage top up. And third is the expand the net. All said and done, I mean 7-8 crore people, right, Karan, who file income tax returns. You look at the number of people who have the passports, have they come to us? So I think they need to expand the net. So the three things will be important. One is that time, take a longer term view. Power of compounding really works in our business also. Technology to leverage really empower yourself, to enable yourselves to do a lot more. And third is the trust. I think remain client centric. And I think if we build the trust, there is a long way to go for all of us.
Interesting. You spoke about the folios and the number of customers, etc. I was reading an article yesterday, and I read it twice to confirm that I was reading the right numbers. It said that about 100 million investors in India bought cryptocurrency. And the average drop in crypto, 100 million is 10 crores.
55 or 60%, right? Average would be
the average fall.
50 to there are some where the app has gone.
So 18 महीने में नवनीत कोई 10 करोड़ लोग आए हैं जिनका एवरेज फॉल ही 55% हो चुका है. And यहाँ पे हमारी इंडस्ट्री का वेल्थ क्रिएशन का रिकॉर्ड ओवर 20 years is for everyone to see. So there is clearly...
I mean, investing is not another form of entertainment with some of the people, the way they look at some of these instruments and they play the market. I think investment is a serious business. I mean, wealth creation equal to sound investment plus time plus patience. There is no second formula. There is only one formula. Sound investment plus time plus patience equal to wealth creation. I think that's what the message all of us need to spread as much as possible.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll have a set of investors who are actually not happy with their returns, and that kind of cascading effect can come on to products that are really doing well also.
Absolutely.
So here again, I think there is a message here for investors. Any message for investors who are trying to do it themselves? I'm not trying to say that it's incorrect, but anything for them, because any views on DIY?
No, I think start early and invest regularly. Also, as I said, that wealth creation over a long period equal to sound investment plus time plus patience. And I think वो सही निवेश समय और संयम बोलूं या धैर्य बोलूं, I think ये तीनों का combination नहीं होगा तो wealth creation नहीं होता हो सकता है. I think the money cannot be made by trading in the short run. In most of our conversations, the question is always like, "Bazaar kya lagta hai?" But that is far less important. There is growth in India over a long period of time. I think the history has shown how wealth can be created by remaining disciplined, investing every month in the most simple manner. And mutual fund industry has done a wonderful job in providing that vehicle. I think remaining disciplined and keeping that faith in India is the way to create wealth over a period of time. I think that's very, very critical.
So to tie it all up, the fact that you're mentioning remain disciplined, take the long-term view, any one or two things that are standing out now at HDFC Mutual Fund that you all are trying to do that kind of brings this discipline, or anything that you'd like to share with any of the partners out here, that the efforts from your side to ensure that this...
As I said, I think some of the simple messages that wealth creation equal to sound investment plus time plus patience. I think over a period of time, leveraging the power of digital technology, how do we reach out to more investors? How do we handle the existing investors better and ensure that they create wealth over a long period of time? I think some of our campaigns are driven towards expanding the net and then working with the the rest of the industry players as a collaborator and not as a competitor. I think our focus is a lot more on market making than gaining market share, because I think there is tremendous opportunity. How do we ensure that we reach out to every household? So whether our Badni Se Azadi campaign on the IIP side, or whether our Lakshmi for Lakshmi to create more awareness among the women investors and doing the handholding through the women MFDs, whether it's what we launched yesterday with the NSE Investors and MF Bytes, a very, very interactive course for basics of finance, basics of financial planning, mutual funds, equity and debt, and we are targeting tens of thousands of students across the country through that app. So all of these are driven towards achieving the PM's vision when he said that लोग निवेश करना चाहते हैं, हमें उन तक पहुंचना है, और ये जो जागरूकता है वो हम सबको हर आदमी तक पहुंचानी है, हर व्यक्ति तक इस देश में पहुंचानी है.
No, that's fantastic, because that I totally agree. To be quoted and then praised is an achievement.
Absolutely.
That has taken us some time to reach, but directional matlab sahi hai.
No. And as a group, we are deeply committed to financial inclusion. And I think the true financial freedom for every citizen will only come when all of us work shoulder to shoulder and work together to create that message and trying our best. Funds are delivering, but more important is, I think, creating that message, how wealth has got created over a long period of time. And there is no reason to believe that next several decades wouldn't be better than the last couple of decades for India.
Yeah. So at this point in time, Navneet, when you now look at the journey that the industry has completed, are you seeing any, what could be the potential roadblocks? Now, I mean, it's not something that I want, there is something negative happening, but what could really hamper this journey that we started on? What could possibly go wrong, and how to avoid some of these pitfalls?
I think we have seen a lot, right? The markets have gone up and down. I mean, let's say right from 92 to 2000 to, let's say, 9/11, or a long bear market in equity, long bear market in fixed income. There are challenges on credit or the pandemic, all of that. But industry has shown huge resilience, and it's shown a resolve to serve customers in the right manner. And every time a challenge was thrown to us, I think industry worked together. And I think with the deep help of I think all our partners, MFDs and rest of the ecosystem, advisors, media, policymakers, I think all of us have been like working together. And I think pandemic is a classic case, right? When there was a complete shutdown, I think for not a single day, mutual funds told that we won't be able to meet your expectations. I think we all redesigned our business model. We redesigned our client services, came with newer solutions, KYCs and all, kind of completely changed the way we used to do and the way we do now. And we are doing much bigger numbers. And I think it's the constraint is only in our mind how much we can grow. I think the potential is a lot larger than what we are doing today. In a country of $3 trillion with 20% savings of $500-600 billion a year, the money that's coming to us is much smaller than what our potential is. Yeah.
Cool.
I think, as I said, that all of us should not be complacent with what we have achieved. I think we should all work with a collaborative, and if we work in a collaborative manner, should continue to do that. I give a classic example about fixed income. I look at the fixed income returns today. I mean, in terms of current yield, not the last 1 year, because rates have gone up. So of course there is an MTM component of it, which is reflecting in, let's say, 1 year, 2 year returns. But look at the yields today versus any other revenue on the fixed income side. And industry is like almost flat in terms of AUM over the last 3-4 years. There is so much of opportunity when we look at the bank deposit and cash under the mattress and a lot of other instruments where people invest. And there's a far better, I would say, product in terms of diversification, convenience, tax efficiency, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of possibilities for us.
No, I totally agree. In fact, that whole category is starting to get a lot of traction.
Yeah. And recurring deposit used to be a big product when we were small kids in middle class families. I think that's what, I mean, SIPs we have talked about in equity, but what about SIPs in fixed income?
Completely agree. We can take a couple of questions. If anyone has questions for Navneet, happy to take a couple of questions. After that, we can get a quick summary and then wind it up. Brijesh, we can open it up for anyone who has a question or two for Navneet. There's a couple of comments that have come in and where they accept that this is a 25 to 30 year journey. But any quick questions, comments from anyone? Happy to take that. Otherwise, I can sum this talk up because I got the 3 Fs. Navneet, I'm going to now quote those 3 Fs quite often.
That's a journey. I think we are way small in the global manufacturing, the supply chain. We have a tremendous potential on the farm side. As I said, I think we are all talking about China +1, but what about Russia, Ukraine +1 on the farming side? And what about the front office of the world? So there are hundreds of thousands of people working for global MNCs as well as the Indian IT services companies doing variety of things for large organizations in the world. But I think we can take it to a different level altogether over a period of time. Yeah.
So there's a quick question from Samir, and the question more is in terms of what challenges do you see in the short term? I think that's a good question because
that's an important question.
Yeah, it's an important question. What do you see?
I think more from rest of the world, I think the geopolitical environment is challenging. I mean, whether you look at the Russia-Ukraine situation, whether you look at tensions in China, Taiwan, I think the geopolitical situation is evolving. We need to keep a close eye on that because it also has a repercussion on the commodity prices. And we are a large commodity importer, particularly on the energy side. Our dependence is still very high on crude oil. So I think that's something that we need to keep an eye on. Globally, I think inflation is coming back after like almost 4 decades. So developed world dealing with, inflation, which is high single digit to even like UK, we saw a double-digit inflation. How policymakers react to it, because particularly since 2008, the world has got used to a cheap and abundant liquidity. When that liquidity dries up, what implications it will have on asset prices, on risk appetite of global investors, I think that's something that needs to be watched. While our domestic investors are showing a lot of resilience, but how global investors continue to react or respond, I think that's something that we need to watch out for. And of course, I think for us, I think on the domestic side, we should not do a self-goal. If we have to realize this potential, which is like once in a generation that comes our way. So today, I think a once in a generation opportunity has come to us, and as a society, we should not do any self goal, whether in the arena of business or policy or anywhere that we are not to realize this potential of ours.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take one last question that's come from Deep Lakshmi, and her question is, what can they expect changes as far as the fund house is concerned now that you've taken over, etc.? So just a quick one on that.
No, I think over the last 22 years, we've built a great franchise, an outstanding franchise, which has built scale with quality. I think we have the people, we have the processes, I think a very clear-cut philosophy on our funds. We have presence, both physical across 227 cities and a digital presence. We have the right platform, the partnerships that we have built over the last 20 years. What we are adding more or focusing more is on a passion and a purpose. So the purpose we have set for ourselves, or the mission that we have set for ourselves, is to be the wealth creator for every Indian. And the passion with which we are working is to be the most respected asset manager in the world, And I think every single person in the organization is driven towards this mission and this vision.
Excellent. And Navneet, thanks so much for your time and for your insights. As usual, I'll learn so much from you, and it's very tough to get everything out of you in 30-35 minutes, but thanks for compressing it for us. And like I said, for me, factory, front office, and farm, the 3 Fs become like my new mantra. I'll also start thinking on those lines. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it once again, and catch you soon sometime in Bombay once again.
Thank you so much, Karan, and thank you so much, Brijesh, for this opportunity, and great to interact with all of you. We keep learning from each other all the time. Thank you.
I have one question for you.
Sure, Brijesh.
Apart from your professional life, and you have seen a journey of 20-25 years, and now you are the head of one of the largest institutions of India. How did you get here? What was your early life like? If you want to give some inputs to our participants, that what it takes to reach where you have reached.
So, I mean, as Warren Buffett says that I won the Averian lottery of being born in US at the right time, and I could write that. I think I won the Averian lottery of one being born in India and also born in a place called Beavar. It's in Ajmer district in Rajasthan. So I was born in Beavar, and I think I lived there throughout my childhood. I did my schooling, my chartered accountancy there. And then after doing my CA and just got lucky, I got 50th rank. Had I got 1 mark less, I wouldn't have got a merit. I wouldn't have been a merit holder in CA. So the luck plays such a big role in life. And then I got into Birla Group, and then of course SBI Mutual Fund, briefly in Morgan Stanley, and now I have a great honor and a privilege to serve HDFC Group, which all of us aspire to serve. And I think life has been a series of those lucky incidences, and yeah, it's been a great journey.
And the best part of that answer is that you were born at the right country at the right time.
Absolutely. And the right place also within the country. I think the place I was born, Beavar, a small business town, I think, that has given me a lot. And I spent my entire childhood. I hardly moved out of that town till I was in school and college.
Super.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to have both of you. Karan, thank you so much. And Navneet, thank you so much for this lovely insight and talk. And we are grateful to both of you for accepting our invite to be on the MasterStroke platform.
Our pleasure.
So
my pleasure. Always a pleasure to interact with you guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Catch you all soon.
Bye. Jai Hind.
Bye.